to go with the sci-fi theme of Jonah's video. The people above me are having a really loud argument, and I can't decide if it's better or worse than the noises I usually hear coming from up there. And the noise I usually hear coming from up there is sex. So, actually, I think I prefer the arguing. I would much rather have them arguing. Because, I mean, it's just really distracting. So, I am writing a seminar paper, which is just like a paper that you write one semester, and you can write it on any of the books that you've read. I am writing it on Herodotus. Now, around the same time that I finished reading that book, John Green talked about the Greeks and the Persians in this new YouTube channel that he has called Crash Course, where he talks about world history and Hank talks about biology. I'll put the link to John's video in my pants. Anyway, he was talking about how Herodotus had historical bias and how the world would be different if maybe the Persians won the war, because the Greeks kind of did philosophy and the stars and all that good stuff. So it got me thinking about the historical bias of Herodotus, because I hadn't actually thought about it. I mean, I don't know if I just took what Herodotus wrote face value and just accepted that Xerxes was a crazy person and the Athenians were awesome and would fight to the death for honor and freedom and glory and all of that. But it got me thinking, and at the beginning, Herodotus is going through the customs of the Babylonians and the Persians and the Egyptians, and he remarks, or someone remarks, who was it, that custom is king, which I think is really true. But, what a culture decides is appropriate, and with how they decide to bury their dead or how they decide to raise their children, what values they instill in them, completely shapes the culture and shapes their future and how that culture is going to affect the world. Like the Greeks, they instilled, philosophy and thinking and mathematics and all that stuff, and it gave birth to, modern Western culture. And if the Persians won, and if we take what Herodotus said about the Persians as facts, maybe we would end up not with philosophy, but with rulers that just used us as resources to gain their own means. Because, I mean, how Xerxes is portrayed, he doesn't view his people as his people. He views them, I think, as his resources to do with what he pleases. He isn't trying to protect them or look out for their best interest. He's using them to do what he wants. He has them whip the ocean when the ocean does not do what he wants it to do. I think he's insane. But, I mean, Herodotus was an Athenian, so maybe Xerxes was not insane. Maybe he was fine. Maybe the Athenians were crazy. I don't know. But when he's talking about the cultures of other places, he's really surprisingly non-judgmental. He even praises the Persians' custom of raising their boys to shoot arrows, ride horses, and always speak the truth. Those are the things that the Persians taught their youth. And he praises that. He thinks it's a really good idea. I mean, I think the only things that he disagrees with is Babylonians forcing their women into prostitution and some cultures eating their dead, which he thinks is gross, which, I mean, I agree. But actually, the prostitution thing I think is really interesting. In Babylonia, women had to go to a temple at least once in their lives, where they would sit there and they would have to wait until a man threw a piece of silver into her hand or lap. And it could be any amount of money. There was no minimum, there was no maximum. And you had to wait there until a man wanted to have sex with you. Some people waited for 3 years. And I mean, the mandatory prostitution, that's bad. But I feel like if you went there and you were like, I know I'm not the prettiest, so I think I'm going to be there for a month, tops. month. I mean, I'm not that gross looking. And then you're there for 3 years? I mean, and then you go back to your town and you've been gone for 3 years and everyone knows why. Everyone knows it's because nobody wants to have sex with you. I mean, that's sad. That's, yeah. Hmm. So that was my ramble of the day. That's basically my seminar essay, except I have to make that rant 7 pages long. So, good luck to me. I'll see you guys.